What we found in this study is that the effects of air pollution on productivity are substantially higher than what we previously thought. In many previous studies, folks have looked at ambient air pollution or outdoor air pollution rather than indoor air pollution. So if the changes in outdoor air pollution are large, you could still get much smaller changes in indoor air pollution, and you may incorrectly conclude that the effects of air pollution on productivity are smaller than they actually are. So our effects are considerably larger than what has been demonstrated in the literature before, and this is really important because this is not just a concern for the aesthetics of the environment or in terms of thinking about the health impacts of air pollution, which typically happen on elderly populations or very young populations, but this is also affecting the lifeblood of the economy. This is something that finance ministers could care about because this is affecting just how effective workers are at being able to do their job and what this means for the gross domestic product of the country. So the implication of this is that we must, while ambient air pollution levels remain alarmingly high, and while there is some political economy failure in how to resolve air pollution, or our institutions aren't able to figure out how to reduce air pollution, ambient air pollution levels, what is really critical here is that we should be thinking about how we can enable both firms and households to engage in this kind of defensive behavior, which has a very high return on investment. And one of the questions that's coming out of this is, well, why aren't firms investing in this kind of behavior? Is it because they don't see the gains from it? Is it because air pollution levels are not something that they account for when they're thinking about the productivity? And that's where a lot of our work is going forward. Why is it that this technology that is such a high return on investment, in our case, we found that even after paying import duties and import tariffs, there was about an 8x return in just 1 month of using air purifiers in the median factory that we were working with. It really starts to beg the question of why we're not seeing more adoption of these kinds of investments. There's a lot of really interesting and important questions here in this topic of air pollution and why households and firms are not doing more to protect themselves. So in one sense, we want to understand indoor infiltration has clearly been shown to be a very effective tool at combating, at least for a limited amount of time while you're indoors, your exposure to air pollution. And we're just beginning to understand how large the health and productivity effects could be from this kind of technology adoption. I think going forward, we also want to try to understand why we are not seeing more of action around air pollution in India. This is a health emergency, a productivity emergency on the scale of many major diseases that we've encountered, and yet there hasn't been the same galvanizing public health movement towards combating ambient levels of air pollution. So one of the things that we want to understand is this because citizens don't care that much about air pollution? Is it because the bureaucratic class is not responding to the citizen concerns around air pollution? Or is it because only certain types of people are affected by air pollution and therefore where the political motivations or the concerns come from are not quite as obvious?